you think of Marshall, you think of huge stacks of high voltage amps adorned with that famous scripted logo. We actually currently don't have one in this room, but don't you worry because we have an extra special one on the way. Watch this space. One area of Marshall, however, that isn't quite as iconic as their amps, but still very popular among guitarists, is their range of pedals, particularly their drive pedals. I mean, they are known for their overdriven and distorted amp tones, so it kind of makes sense. Well, if you're au fait with your guitar pedal history, then you would have remembered Marshall's original pedals from the late 80s and early 90s, most particularly the Bluesbreaker and the Governor. They were pretty popular at the time, but ever since Marshall discontinued them, they've gained a cult status among guitarists and they're hugely in demand on the second-hand market. So I think you're beginning to see where this is going, because brand new for 2023, Marshall have listened to the will of the people and have re-released the entire range. That includes the Bluesbreaker, the Governor, the Shredmaster, and the Drivemaster, all of which have been faithfully recreated and reintroduced into Marshall's roster. Now, I'm sure you're aware that when brands release products like this, they like to give retailers like us a chance to have a look at the pedals and make some video content like this is before the launch. However, normally it's a couple of weeks before launch at best. Marshall, on the other hand, brought these pedals down for us in July of last year for us to have a little look at them. It was so long ago, in fact, that we've completely rebranded and changed our logo since. So just ignore the ugly looking old-fashioned logo that was on the wall. We were lucky enough to have Steve from Marshall come down to give them a demo for us and answer some of the questions that we thought you might have when it comes to these pedals.
The Marshall reissue pedals are your faithful recreations of the pedals we originally came out with. Firstly in 1988 with the Governor, and then a few years after we released the other three, which are the Bluesbreaker, Shredmaster and Drivemaster, in late 91 to 92. The reason why we decided to re-release these pedals now is because obviously the pedal market is huge, and those vintage style Marshall pedals like the Bluesbreaker and the Governor, you know, everybody wants those again, and the original circuit, and it's obviously been copied by a lot of other brands. So we decided just to go, here you go, here's the original. So the Governor came out first in 1988, and our R&D were given the task back then to make a Marshall amp in a box. So that's another thing to mention actually. The Governor was the first amp in a box pedal to be released onto the market. There were lots of other drives, but not actually pedals to make you sound like you're playing through a cranked up Marshall stack. And off the back of that, because that was in the market for a few years, they decided to sort of broaden the range a little bit and sort of reinvent it. So when we decided to sort of stop the Governor to make way for the new pedals, we introduced the Drivemaster, which is essentially a revised version of the Governor. then obviously the Bluesbreaker came along with that, and then the Shredmaster. So yeah, the Shredmaster is probably very different in comparison to the Governor and the Drivemaster, which are closely related.
Personally, I absolutely love the sound of the original Bluesbreaker pedal. My friend had one when I was back in music college, and I absolutely loved the sound of it. I was obsessed. I tried to get a pedal that could recreate that sound, but nothing lived up to that original box. And I certainly didn't have the money as a poor musician back then to go and get one of the inflated prices on the secondhand market. However, now that Marshall are bringing them back, and at a much more reasonable price than you'll get for one of the overinflated ones on Reverb, I think I'm definitely going to have to clear a space on my pedal board.
The Shredmaster, as the name may indicate, it's got the most amount of gain, but it's probably the most versatile as well, because you've got a contour control instead of just a straight up mid. So it's really good for all styles of music, the Shredmaster. They are exactly as the originals were. We actually dug out the original schematics and copied them like for like. If you're a real nerd and you decide to open the pedals up, the only difference you'll find inside is the jack sockets and the potentiometers are a different manufacturer, because the original ones are no longer in production. So they are the same sound and they won't sound any different. As far as our heritage goes, like, all Marshall fans kind of have a lot of respect for these pedals. So I think like the guys who love Marshall will love these pedals. But even if you're the sort of guitar player who likes running a clean amp, and you want lots of different types of drive sound, then obviously these pedals are perfect for that, because you've got the choice of the Drivemaster governor for that kind of classic rock kind of tone, the Shredmaster, which obviously does lots of different tones, like the high gain thing, straight through to the lower gain if you wish. And then obviously the Bluesbreaker is a very famous pedal, and it's the only one of the three which is soft clipping. So that's more of a kind of, I hate to pigeonhole it to a style, but it's more of a bluesy kind of tone. I think the pedals came out great. That, you know, they're faithful recreations of the original, and that was the main aim. Like I say, our R&D team got the original schematics out from way back in the day, and they didn't alter anything. They just thought, let's make them exactly as they were. There was a few conversations back and forth with, shall we change this, should we do that, should we update them in any way, and we decided not to, because obviously the hardcore fans want the pedals to be exactly as they were back then.
So that was the brand new Marshall Reissue drive pedals. They're faithful recreations of cult classic pedals from a company that you should definitely trust when it comes to getting great driven tones. What did you guys think though? Did you ever own one of the original pedals back in the day? Are you tempted by any of these? Let us know down in the comments below. Thank you so much again to Steve from Marshall for coming down and showing us the pedals what feels like a decade ago. And thank you to you guys for watching. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe to see more things like this, and we will see you very soon.